Welcome back to Gears of War 4. Now I, as leader, will lead this team to glory and stop whatever the hell's going on.
What do you even call this team?
And I'll help.
Sure. We'll call this Team Dwibs is the best.
That's the thing, Teo. JD's gang doesn't really have a particular name. They're just JD and...
Yeah. Team JD.
Very good, Teo. Very good, Teo. See, you're already getting into the basic thing.
Well,
Very
maybe
good.
I can take advantage and call them the lamers.
Teo, I want you to think about this. In this game, the main bad guys that these guys are up against are COG. You know what this means, right? This is pretty much the equivalent of that Nazi Captain America meme.
Well, okay, Teo. How about this?
Okay, it's one step closer to 805 at this point, Jova. The next thing that we need is to actually frame Marcus Phoenix for a crime he didn't commit.
Well, we're not going to do that, Teo, but we are. But as you've seen in that scene I showed you off screen, they do make him turn him into a moron later on.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. How about this? Since they're lame, we can call them the Luca Goers. So there you go. But anyway, I actually want to address something that I forgot to address in part 1. Did you remember how... Okay, for the record, everybody, and this is coming from someone who has played this game twice, and the same goes for 5, so I know what I'm talking about. Basically, the way JD and Kait talk to each other over the course of these 2 games imply that they've known each other for a while at this point. In that case, how come Dell and Kate's uncle have to tell JD, don't bother JD, she's her mother's daughter? Well, shouldn't JD know already how stubborn Kate is? Because he's known her for a while then?
Maybe it's an idea that he's never met her mother, but then again, that wouldn't make any sense.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
He is part of the group that her mother leads.
Potential redundancy. Like, I know for experience some people that will tell you the same thing over and over and actually forget about that.
There's a much better explanation to it. Tom Bissell wanted to establish the fact that...
and did not have a very convincing way to do that, so yeah.
Exactly.
Let me put it like this. Here's how you fix it. Have JD be something of a new recruit. Let's say he was recently disillusioned with the COG, and then, you know, him joining the Resistance was more recent, and that's why he may know Kate, but doesn't know her mother that much. But no, he's actually apparently been a part of the COG for quite some time.
It's weird.
Also, can I just point out something about most of this part of the game, even before gathering the fabricator, as being quite staticky. Like, I know that the game, the cover shooting is fine, serviceable as it is, but the verticality of this level relies on you standing on this central platform that doesn't really have anything interesting going on. I like the idea that you have to defend from multiple angles and potentially activate the barriers. It's just that there's nothing else interesting, and the game is going for a while now here. First going down and now going up instead.
That's a thing too. This game
is very apparent.
Not just that, this game plays it very safe. Even Rod Ferguson himself kind of admitted that when he announced Gears 5 in 2018, when he said, and I quote, "With Gears 4, we wanted to assure you of us. Now with Gears 5 and blah blah blah." So even he kind of admitted that they played it safe with this game, basically.
Well, since we're addressing stuff in part 1, I forgot to mention, you know that Australian girl who we see in the prologue?
Yeah, the one I actually liked that I discovered in the third game was like 50 plus.
One thing that's interesting, she actually uses Ebola, as you may have noticed during the gameplay.
Yeah, she does.
She's Australian, mate.
Not that it matters, because that was the one time she'll show up in this game.
And again, already she's more interesting than most of the actual main characters of this playthrough. Like, you know, that's kind of the unofficial theme of this game. We're playing as these randos, while we'd rather be playing as the more classic characters.
Marcus and this gang.
Who I immediately liked, personally, especially Cole, and I really don't feel anything for these people yet.
It's more so the fact, again, like Jova once said, they're trying to make him more... How should I put this? Like, normal. They're making them more normal, like in the terms of like they don't act like, you know, 80s action heroes like Marcus and his gang do. you know? The problem is, by doing that, you've turned them into mediocre guys that we don't really... Alright, Tail, you're about to meet a character that I'm sure you're gonna be a big fan of, or not.
Hi.
There he is. That's she. Hey, Jim.
Oh, God.
You've been busy.
Alright, listen here. You're gonna like this joke,
Is she a
bud.
robot?
Pay attention to this. You're
Or
gonna
android or
pay attention to this, because I think you're gonna like this joke. Hold on.
Okay, listen to.
Those are new, and they're armed.
They are. And here's what's interesting.
Why
Unlike
do you make that flat?
They actually follow orders.
It's so impractical.
What is it? You looking for a repeat?
Because it shows her face
The
up
punchline when
fully.
he shoots the head.
It's now our most complete.
You're close.
Basically, she's broadcasting herself from a secure location.
Yeah, clearly.
I don't care about the goddamn fabricator.
What a great politician.
Know what you were trained to do.
Yeah,
There we go.
Uh,
What the hell was she talking about?
No clue.
Yeah, bye.
Notice, however,
Not what I
definitely
expected
the
at
high
all.
point so far of the game. So there's that.
Get
that's a thing, Joe. That's a thing, Teo. Believe it or not, Teo, that's gonna be the running gag of this game. She shows up and then she gets destroyed, basically.
But still, I need to point out that the design of that broadcasting bot is so impractical, because in most sci-fi media, the robots and devices that are similar tend to still have the proper head, you know. Even Arnim Zola manages to protect better the TV head, you know, of these Zola bots. This girl actually goes around with a fucking mirror with no protection whatsoever. He just begs for someone to get a headshot on her.
it's even worse than that. It's pretty much an iPad that she's streaming from.
Oh, the worst thing possible, Apple technology.
Yes,
Now, okay.
the world of
now-
Gears of War has gone down to shit because Apple took it over.
Now,
Of course.
now I will give that scene one thing though. The whole her getting run over and then the sign with "Get in" and Dell pointing out that that's mysteriously convenient. That's actually kind of funny, and would have been interesting if the game had continued with a tone like that. Like, okay, if you want to go for a more cheeky environment, sure, that's fine. Once again, the problem is the word commit.
Yeah,
The game
that was I
doesn't
was about
commit.
to mention, Drova, combined also with the writing. This is clearly giving me the vibe that Mr. Bissell really enjoyed watching Guardians of the Galaxy and wanted to try his own version of that.
The problem is that later the game will veer off into a completely different direction, as Pedro can attest for.
Yes, but actually, Teo, now that I think about it, no, this is a Microsoft game, which means she's probably streaming from a Windows phone. So.
Were those even still
no,
a
she's
thing around the
using-
That's
time?
somehow worse.
He actually
She's
owned
using
them.
Mixer.
Yeah, she's using well, Mixer died, so we can't be that either.
Even,
Okay,
well,
okay.
if Windows Phone are discontinued from production, so
Fine,
that's that
she's
too.
using
For the
Facebook then.
record, for the record,
Skype.
Windows Phone was so much of a failure that even Microsoft made fun of them. Like, that is exactly the reason why I would have a better chance believing that it's an iPad than a Windows Phone.
To focus a bit more on the story itself, though,
Sure you were, Gene.
you might have joke aside, you might have noticed how in that cutscene, notice how Jin, for some reason, didn't care about the fabricator. You'd think she would, considering that's what we're here to steal. So what? And she said, and I quote, "You're taking my people." Keep that in mind for. And JD, keep it for the record. JD and the others have no idea what the hell she's talking about. But
Rogue AI that's impersonating the politician.
nope.
That's to say to you, there's a mystery afoot.
Ooh.
Oh, let me guess. It turns out this particular character we're playing as right now is secretly evil and he's
No.
luring them into a
The
trap.
real JD
Joe-
died a long time
No.
ago.
No, Jova. Sorry. No, we're saving that for Gears 5. Hold on. So.
So that's the thing, though. These people they think I'm getting my guesses right, but it's not for another game yet.
So sure,
Yes.
so Shuri, you said that you actually did enjoy, the bit of the characters that Pedro showed you. Care to go a bit more in depth with that, since not much.
Well,
is
he
gonna
showed me
happen.
various introductions, and he also showed me some of the more serious scenes, like in terms of some character deaths and such.
I showed her the Berserker in Gears 1 ripping that cog apart. basically. So basically, just to show her, just to give her a basic idea of the horror like elements that the original trilogy.
He gave me a general idea of the whole tone of it, even some of the later stuff, and.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna. So, Shuri, in that case, do you think that the original trilogy might have been something you could potentially be interested in?
Yes, I actually said that to Pedro at the time.
Then there you go! The whole change that Microsoft made to Gears of War was, well, when you get down to it, unnecessary. Essentially, what they did was try and make these more, quote-unquote, open for everybody. But
Jova,
more open for everybody. It's the case where everyone loses. But it's a super safe version of Gears that doesn't really seem as interesting as the original trilogy. Tries to be more appropriate for people who aren't just huge bird shooter folk. And of course, tries to go all woke at times.
After all, Jova, we need to, remember, they need to actually make up for the writing of Gears of War Judgment, where that colonel actually acted very, very stereotypical and stupid towards Ali Hilly's character. Oh wait, don't be so helpful writing that thing.
Yes.
And didn't he kill her off anyway?
By the time we're recording this, we're also recording Judgment, so I'm not at that point yet, so we'll have to see.
I did reveal that in the playthrough, though, too. Not that the game, trust me, Theo, the game doesn't care either, so you shouldn't. Anyway.
I guess.
But Joe told you in Glitz that she was going to die.
Yeah, I did, yeah. But Jova, don't you see? Gears 5 has a woman with a chainsaw gun. That's bold, according to the Washington Post. According to the Washington Post.
And she's a lame character. Are you proud? Anyway, you were saying, Shuai?
Yeah, I mean, look, representation is nice, and I also like stories that have a point. Not to say that the first 3 Gears games weren't devoid of any sort of point. There was actually stories and such. But I also like silly, stupid fun, which is what the first 3 games seem to be, like from what Pedro showed me. And like totaling up the time of the clips, I think I maybe only saw about half an hour or so.
I think the best way to put it, Shiro, is that it's mostly good old-fashioned 80s action fun. With a sort of
it's hilarious.
But with a sort of sentimental side to it as well.
Yeah, and you showed me like equal
Maria's
parts
death.
of both.
Yeah.
And and it's nice to just have that, and that stuff does developers are and marketing execs are very out of touch because this stuff does in fact appeal to some women.
Exactly. Heck, not only that, Troy, you know what the original trilogy had? Plenty of badass women. It had
I know. Pedro showed me them too.
Yeah.
Hell, if anything, I haven't seen much of 5 yet. But if I recall correctly, in terms of ratio, 3 shows up in, at least for the story, a lot more woman character than these 2 new titles.
No, it's because.
Oh boy.
Well, that's Tail. Wait. You're talking about.
He's talking about the ratio of female to male characters.
Oh, that. Okay.
I mean, at least I can count on top of my head, at least for 3. Anya, then
and
Sam, and also the other girl, woman that showed up also for the intro of this one. And I'm pretty sure there were others also scattered around. Here we have the politician, that anonymous cog that you play in the intro for 5 seconds, and of course, instead here, Laura Bailey's character.
Don't you see, Kait supposed to be so awesome that she'll be the equivalent of all female characters.
It's
rolled into one awesome package, yo.
Is
the politician potentially playable as a skin in the multiplayer?
So what just...
not asking that you tried, just if you know.
No, I haven't actually tried the multiplayer because I don't have.
I was asking only if you knew by information alone.
No. Yeah, I do know. I don't know all the details of it, obviously, but I know the basic gist of it. For those who want to get a basic gist of why the multiplayer of 5 is bad.
No. What I did ask is the politician woman a skin for the multiplayer?
Oh, that. I don't think so. No. But that being said, there's something way more egregious too. The fact that the original Delta Squad is not available for playing on multiplayer. Aside from old Marcus.
Not even as DLC?
From what, at least last time I checked, no. Maybe that's changed since then. By all means, everybody correct me in the comments if you...
thanks to the microtransactions, we know that 5 has that, but I guess 4 doesn't.
Well, that's the thing too. Like a lot of shit that was given to be in the original games is now paid content in the new games. So
well, okay, no, there's a difference. There's a difference between it's now paid content and it's not there at all. We didn't even think about that.
Okay. Let me put this to you. It's there, but you get them through loot boxes and microtransactions.
For 5, I'm talking about the difference between 5 and 4.
Oh,
4. Well, with 4, that's the thing. With 4, I have less knowledge of too, because the multiplayer for 4 is kind of empty by this point. You know,
which is saying something because Gears 3, 2, and 1 still have, I'd say, they still have notable enough people.
My sources,
their multiplayer.
My sources don't. My sources don't really talk about Gears 4's multiplayer anymore. At this point.
On to the wiki then.
Also, okay, the dialogue wasn't exactly brilliant in the previous game. Now it's even more generic.
Yeah.
Let me put on this again. They try and play stuff safe for, well, no reason, honestly. It's like I said.
Apparently, this writer's famous enough to at least have a picture on his Wikipedia page.
That's the thing.
Weebs, you know who also has that? Skip Woods. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Dwebs. I mean, and like I said before, here, I'll even say it. I've said this in the commentaries and I'll say it again. Okay, yeah, of course. Obviously, no one's trying to argue that the original Delta Squad was like this amazing cast of characters with ultra super def or anything. No, but that's not even what they're supposed to be anyway. They're supposed to be just good old-fashioned, simple but wisecracking fun action heroes. That's it. But when Tom Bissell took over this franchise, he injected so much lameness and so much genericness into the writing that it's sickening.
It kind of shows his earliest judgment as well.
Yeah.
Granted, he wasn't the sole writer there, but it has a
you could see him planting seeds.
A lot of his fingerprints on there.
It does.
Like, honestly, the whole sexist commander thing and that thing feels like one of those things that you usually use for those female empowerment sort of projects.
Oh, is that the particular
the highlight
commentary you showed me? Like, what the fuck was that line?
I don't know. Shira, I can promise you that the original trilogy doesn't have any of that shit.
Not only that, even the comics weren't like that. The comics literally show that Anya's mother, Helena, is one of the leading commanders of the entire military.
Basically,
so that whole sexist comment really doesn't have any precedent.
The basic gist of it, Shiro, is that after Gears of War 3, Cliff Bleszinski was done, because he finished telling his story, and he left Epic Games, the developer at the time. And ever since then, the franchise started a decline, basically.
Judgment was... Oh god, okay. It had a wonky story and a very weird change to the gameplay, which Pedro has definitely pointed out. But I guess you could say it was for a spin-off. It wasn't too bad. At least you could say it was fun, especially with the RTS sections.
They neutered Cole of his own. They neutered Cole of his own personality, though. So I'm not exactly.
Wait. I thought you said that Cole was like the best written character in that game.
Wait, you're talking about Judgment or?
Yeah. But
Cole and Judgment barely said anything.
Never mind. I mixed Cole up with Baird.
No. Baird is the only character in Judgment that's actually somewhat.
And that's because it's supposed to be the main protagonist.
Basically, Shiro, you know how you like Cole? Basically, starting immediately after Gears of War 3, they made a game where Cole is just kind of there and mostly stays silent because, you know, that's apparently better.
Okay.
To be fair, that's kind of a fault of the story more than Cole himself as a character. Basically, sure, the story of Judgment is, hey, I know that we're in the middle of a war, but this asshole commander takes Baird, Cole, and 2 random folk, one of which does in fact die in the add-on content after the campaign, so yeah, there's that. Spoilers, that's the one voiced by Lightning, as Pedro mentioned earlier. And basically, what happens is you ever seen that Star Trek episode where basically Kirk and company are giving their testimony before all council, that sort of thing done in medias res? That's kind of it, except they're in the middle of a war field, and there is no reason to do it because what they did was for the good of the squad, honestly.
It's
oh god, we're still carrying this. What the fuck?
Gotta pad the game out too. Well,
right,
Tail, that's the thing too. Apparently the game heard you complain and it said, okay, fine, we're done then.
Like I said, padding is quite a factor in this game.
Sadly, Tail, it wouldn't be a good boy all the time.
I drive. My car, my rules.
Look, I need you watching our backs.
Alright, if I remember correctly, I think it's now that we're gonna meet Reyna and we're gonna see the Carmine death of this game.
There we go, I have a list here of the skins, but I'll wait for another time.
Oh, I'm sure Gears 4 had microtransactions, because I've heard that at least.
No, I'm talking about the characters who are able as skins.
Alright, now we're Act 1, Chapter 4, a few snags. So basically now we're gonna meet Reyna, aka Kate's mom, aka the leader of this rebel group. And we're about to get the Carmine death as well. Yes, already.
We haven't even met him.
As you can see, this resistance...
that's the thing,
wait, the Jova. Yes. She's the female protagonist for Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, how about that?
And now... Agent.
Oh, ready?
First Minister. Reyna, I'm here for my people. Stand aside.
Maybe you could speak like an actual human being and tell us what you mean by your people.
Yeah. We're being intentionally vague to not spoil the plot twist from later.
That's your choice.
You're forgetting one thing.
Oh? And what's that?
Punch. Close enough.
Oh, here you go, too.
Oh, yeah, whatever that means.
Alright.
By the way,
hold on, Shiroi. Hold on, Shiroi. There you go.
Good job.
And that was Carmine's death. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh,
that's terrible.
that's sad.
Okay, yes, we know. The running gag is that there's always a Carmine that dies in every Gears game. We get that. But the reason it was fun in the original game is because the game actually bothered to get us to know the character to some extent. In here, they just mention him and then he just explodes immediately.
It's like,
my
hi,
god,
bye.
we're still carrying this thing.
Yes, Theo, we're still playing.
Do we have to spend the entire game carrying this thing like in equal?
No, don't worry, Theo, don't worry.
Oh, man, thank god.
Theo, I get that. Wow, Theo, this game is really getting to you.
I'm sorry, it's such an easy thing to not do.
I mean, Theo's got a point. This is literally intentionally slowing down the character. When you literally
it's
have to
a literal burden. Both
in and out
of universe.
Can I just mention something about what just happened?
Go ahead.
Go on.
It kind of feels like they put in that death just because they felt like it was obligatory.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like, there it is. Are you happy now?
And for the record, guys, there's no Carmine death in 5.
Isn't there a Carmine at all?
There are 2 Carmines in 5, Tail, but they don't die.
Well, okay.
Although to be fair, Free was the one who did that first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't mind, aside from the running gag, Carmine has managed to the Carmine family has managed to become more than that, over time.
Exactly.
Something that the fans could actually bond with.
And honestly,
that family is cursed.
Oh, and by the way, guys, now we have to put the kids in this vault that they have for some reason, so that they can be protected from all the
You've been a bad boy, Johnny. Get in the corner.
No. Go to the vault.
I love this one.
You'll be safe in there.
Listen here.
Don't you see, guys? Cog are now the bad guys.
Okay,
stealing children and
I'm sorry, Tom.
Die?
No, he's not. He's not gonna die too. At least I don't think he is.
That was a realistic danger high voltage sign.
Well, actually, I'll come back to you too in the next part. But am I supposed to care about that kid? Because that hug kind of whatever.
I
guess it tells me that Laura Bailey's character has a history with the village, knows that the characters, associated with that.
It's just a general gesture of comfort.
No, Tim, it's fine. Like, I have no real major issue.
I think it serves more for the bigger picture than.
I have no major issue with Kait in this game. She's just generic and lame to me. Like, it's in 5 that she goes full Captain Marvel on us. So.
Alright, so I guess we will finally stop carrying the fabricator in the next part.
But Theo, now that we had the fabricator, time for the first RTS section of the game.
As long as it stands in one place, sure.
Apparently, Theo, that was the one thing they thought that it was worth keeping from Judgment, it seems.
I mean, I'd rather have that instead of the schizophrenic narrative with each character testifying.
I guess, yeah. Alright, everybody, see you for the next part where we RTS the fuck, and let's just say shit's gonna go down. So,
yeah.
See ya.